Well, Zach, you know, there's some good shows and there's some bad shows. It's funny. I always want to just defer to you and be like, "Can you just please be the host of this show today?" Like, do the whole like. I have no positivity, no energy. This is. I hope to God anyone watching this show for the first time, they're not seeing me because they're going to see me in my most depressed state. All right, you know what? I can put a brave face on. Welcome everyone to Little Sports Talk. Kim McCauley, Zach Rothenberger. It is January 25th on a cold, dark, dreary, depressing Monday.
I feel like you are Michael Jordan playing the flu game right now. So I'm ready for a strong performance, even though you're going through all the actual physical sickness and the Packers.
Yeah, well, I can't hype it up. Just a little cold.
Yeah.
No, but that was the thing. It's funny. Like if it wasn't the circumstances, I'd be like, maybe we could just like skip the show or do it tomorrow. But it's like, no, I got my tea here.
There you go. Nice.
We're gonna get through this.
Always helps, or black tea, whatever you're into.
Yeah, a little peppermint tea.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, well, it helps the stomach, which is good because I've been nauseous since 7:00 last night. So about 24 hours I've been.
Did you get any sleep last night?
I actually did, in the weirdest of ways. Like, it's a bad sleep, though. It's like I want to go to bed at like 9:00, which I did. And then you just like wake up like at 11, 3, 5, 7. It was awful.
Yeah, it's the worst.
You know what I'm going through.
Yeah, it's not fun, that's for sure.
No, look, you can see the rings under my eyes. I don't look so good.
You look great, man. You look great. It's all right.
No, all right. Pick me up. I don't know what to do. I don't actually how to go on. All right, we can do this, right? All right, Championship Sunday recaps. This is going to be one of the probably the toughest shows I have to do. But you know what? At the same point, Zach, I at least got to like laugh a little bit at the thought that like, hey, anyone that like hates me for just being that kind of just cocky Packers fan, like you're basking in this, which is fine.
Well, I don't think you're not even close to being a cocky Packers fan.
Yeah, but I definitely have like a little spunk in the step or something. Like, and if
but when you have a team like that, with Rodgers and company, you're allowed to have that. You're not like rubbing it in anyone's face. You're just enjoying the moment. So it's good to see.
Yeah, and we got the chat going, which is good to see too. Yeah, dude. All right, we'll obviously get to the recaps. We'll talk about football news. Do you want to just get everything rolled out with a little clickbait to get started?
Yeah, let's get the juices flowing with some clickbait.
Yeah, why not, right?
Right. So mine, naturally comes from a source that we paid for, like ESPN Plus, and as we know, recent news, Matt Stafford, they're going to make him available. The Lions are making him available for trade as of this week, I believe it is. And of course, come the articles of best trade fits for Matt Stafford. 9 NFL destinations. That makes sense.
Nice.
So I'm not sure if,
it's like 35% of the league.
Yeah, Jeremy Fowler it was. And I'm not sure if he was just like looked at every team that had a potential quarterback opening and said, all right, we're going to take these 9. That's like the softest take I've ever heard in my life. At least do 2 or 3 destinations. Don't do all the teams that have an opening.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I was going to use my analogy machine's not working in my head right now, but I think, you're right, because obviously you can lean back and just say that like you got it right.
Yeah, it's a pretty you like those odds if you're betting on it, basically.
Right.
You take 9 teams. Oh.
Right, exactly. And it's an interesting topic. Do you want to do? I figure we can dive into that more, like with the whole NFL. Like we just kind of do NFL chatter.
Yeah.
But I guess I would say this though, before we jump into all of it. You don't really see that too much. You know what I mean? Where they like a gentleman's just like agreements just to part ways. And I guess a lot of it had to do with Dale Ravel, no longer being there. So I don't know. He's in Jacksonville, so I don't know what that means, but.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think it's kind of a respectful. It's nice to see, I guess, seeing everything Matt Stafford, gave to that team, playing through all the injuries and everything. At least it wasn't like a bad breakup, with those two. So.
And Uncle Ricky, I see in the chat. I'm not well.
It all is not good.
No, it's not. Can I ask you something, Zach, about this stuff?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Does it hurt more? in the NFL than any other sport because of that whole like single elimination feeling of like, because even if it's game 7 you lose, like you had 3 days to other days that you had a chance to win and you didn't. So sure, whatever, you know what I mean? Kind of game 7's like just a play in a football game, if you will.
Yeah, I think so. Because like you said yourself, like if you play in a series, it's kind of like you could see the outcome, and you're kind of like the blow. It's a little lesser of a blow than like the one shot, one kill type deal when it comes to single elimination in the NFL. So yeah, no, I think NFL is the worst when your team loses.
So sad.
You can be great. You can be great all for 18 games, and then you play one bad one, and it's like, all right. Which is not to kick you while you're down, which is
it's perfect. That was the perfect way of describing our season in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the NFC Championship game. I can't take it anymore. We lost 4 of the last 7.
It's been a curse.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Curse.
Well, I might as well just start with the nonsense before we jump into it. See old Adam Schefter starting nonsense, dude. He's pissing me off. I noticed, like, I mean, is this me just being super duper duper pissy and jaded today, or is it like he's been starting stuff more? I feel like the last few years, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I have noticed that. I do think that him and Ian Rappaport are like kind of on the same level with their how great they are with their reporting, but I think Schefter's starting to dive into the more of the theatrics, whereas Rappaport is still strictly business.
I feel like they're both kind of theatrics. I feel like because Rappaport's definitely been wrong a few times.
Yeah, true.
So, but no, it's true. I think it's actually a perfect analogy. I think they're 2 peas in the pod now.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at the chat. It is true.
Yeah.
The further you go, the more it hurts. It really does. All right, but I'll talk about this. This was Schefter was saying that Aaron Rodgers is way out of Green Bay, which was, if you watch the video, which I highly recommend, don't doing it because I wasted 2 minutes of my life doing it. But I'm trying to do that for everyone else, so they don't have to do it. But he said that Rodgers could retire or force himself to be traded. It's just like that's not going to happen.
Yeah, this isn't like Days of Our Lives where he's going to pull some.
There's too much class. Like, and here's the thing, right? Like, and this is why I'm annoyed with Schefter making that tweet or the video, I should say, that was tweeted out. That place, like that organization, and him, and right, like he's not going to do that.
No.
And like, where's he going to go?
Right. There's no other better situation he could be in, honestly.
I know. It's just the whole thing's a mess right now.
Yeah.
So to that point, shall we?
Yeah, let's dive in. Let's rip the Band-Aid off, Karen.
For anyone that maybe isn't in tune with the football world, you care to give everyone an update on what happened yesterday?
Well, we might as well go into the game that was played first. Tampa Bay at the Church Lambeau Field against the Green Bay Packers, and it was one of those games where it was a lot. There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of opportunities for I'd say both teams. And a lot of, just no one capitalized on much, especially on Green Bay side. Sorry, Karen.
No, please. I want the full thing.
If you tell me that Tom Brady's going to throw 3 interceptions in a game, you would think that they would lose. And Aaron Rodgers didn't play a bad game whatsoever. I just think it was a combined overall, just something was missing. It seemed like, and I haven't seen that before with this team.
Well, I think it's a start as the highlight you're seeing right now. Scotty Miller scoring a touchdown. That's not good.
I couldn't believe that.
No, I think you hit the nail right on the head in a sense. Well, I mean, you had some really good points. That's probably a weird way of putting it. But no, I think you talked about, right? You said Brady threw the 3 interceptions. Rodgers played well, 3 touchdown passes. Right, the Packers got more first downs, more yards, and one-time possession. Right, like so. There's so many. Like, if you line the game up on a piece of paper, like, there's no way the Packers lose this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is why I hate watching sports talk a lot. And even why I have to admit why I'm not the smartest person at times, because I think all of us as fans and as analysts, for a very loose way of putting it, because we're, whatever. But I feel like we get lost in those numbers, right? You can look at these games, you can look at all these stats. But like you were saying, something was missing. It was that the whole year, usually they were good at playing football. like collectively. Defense, right? If the defense can't get a stop, the offense would get the ball, go down and score, right? And if the offense went 3-0, the defense could have stopped, and the offense would move down the field and then score, right? Like they played complementary football with each other, and they didn't do that yesterday. They got themselves in a hole. There's a horrifying stat. I'll pull it up real quick. There's 45 seconds in the first half. The Packers are down 14-10 with the ball on their own 40. It's 1st and 10, and they're also set to get the second half kickoff. 11 plays later, it's 28-10 Bucks. So it's 14-0 Bucks in those 11 plays. The rest of the game was 26-17 Packers.
Oh, that is.
But it speaks volumes. I mean, right? And that's the thing. And everyone wants to bitch about the field goal, and there's so many things to talk about in this game. It's funny. I remember our college coach once said, "It's not what you do," or he said it more than once, but he used to say, "It's not what you do right; it's what you don't do wrong."
Mm-hmm.
The Packers did too many things wrong yesterday. You can't. I mean, look, I believe wrote it down. You can't drop that two. I mean, this is not in any particular order why they lost, because it's a collective, and it never is. Like that's almost why I hate having these segments. Why did they lose? Well, there's no magic answer. I can't give it to you. It's not on this piece of paper, right? Like you can't pop the tape. It's a collective right? The game is like a it's almost like cooking an egg, right? Like it's like if you just leave the egg there, it will burn. But if you move the egg around, like you could scramble it, you could make it sunny side up, right? Like depending on different actions in the way you address the moment of cooking, right? Like that's much like this, like right? Like there's been times I tried making an omelet, screwed it up, so I just threw more cheese and made scramble, right? Like my point is. There's so many. It's a domino effect in this entire process of analyzing a game that you can't just be like, oh well, they kicked that field goal, that's why they lost. Okay, well, that's not why they lost. There's so many things before that set them up for that position, right? Like, but to that point, I mean, this is what I had just down. And the thing is, I had to write this down just because there's so many things I just didn't want to forget it. You can't. I mean, look, that halftime meltdown is everything, right? You can't throw that interception to Rodgers. Now, what pisses me off a little bit is, and I'm not. No, I'll wait to this part. You can't throw the interception. You can't drop the interception if you're Will Redmond. You cannot be playing man coverage and not have like where the hell was the safety on that Scotty Miller touchdown? I don't know what Kevin King was doing, but like why like to that point, I'm not. Everyone's like, oh, Kevin King. I'm not gonna blame him. My hunch is, I'm like, wouldn't there be some safety help over the top? I don't get it, but then you can't fumble if you're Aaron Jones and like everyone's like ripping him down. Like what? You can't rip him, but like. That's the thing. It just sucks that everyone picked a bad day to not be great. Because Tampa wasn't even really that good. That's not me being petty.
No.
It's more of a statement how bad the Packers played yesterday. They played horrible.
Yeah, I didn't think the Bucs offense really did anything super crazy yesterday. I just think the Packers secondary was almost non-existent. And I think on, like you just said, I think collectively, instead of one person having a bad game, like 10 people had a bad game. Aaron Jones, I've never seen him play that poorly in my life, and then there's the drop 2-point conversion by Lazard that would have changed everything. The dropped interception that should have happened before the big play.
Right, when EQ dropped that 2-point conversion, that no one talks about that. To me, that is one of the worst moments of the game.
Yeah.
You can't drop that ball.
No, you're wide open, and there's no excuse. It hits you right in the number.
I know.
Numbers, yeah, it's...
It reminded me of like an 07-2011 cocktail of the Giants games. Like a little bit of awful stuff from both of them.
Yeah.
Like the closeness of 07 where there was just way too many mistakes, like at the wrong times. I'm trying to grab my pen.
Yeah.
And then 2011 with like the Hail Mary and then like us being the 1 seed and losing at home. Like, it's.
Yeah, I will say credit to Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul. They were in Rodgers' face a lot of the
the
game.
Defense played great. I mean,
But in reality, Rodgers still didn't play bad. It's not like it's and that interception Rodgers threw. You can't. The guy was held the whole time. Like you can't.
Well, and that's what pissed me off about that flag at the end of the game. It's like, and I'm not trying to go there, and I'm not going to go there. You know me. I'm not actually going there as a fan. I'm not saying that's why I lost the game. I'm just biting my hand saying, why did you throw that flag? Like, did you really have to throw that flag in that moment?
Well, because the whole game they were letting things like that go.
Exactly. That's all. Like, John Henry has the best quote of all time. He's always said, "I don't care if you're good or bad, just be consistent." And it's right. Like that's how I've always been. Just be consistent.
Completely agree. And we've seen that. That's been like a theme too many times. I feel like in the NFL, especially this season, where from first quarter till the last 5 minutes left in the game, the refs are letting everyone play. There's probably 3 or 4 penalties all game, and it's like an offside or a false start.
Right, and there's some blatant grabbing. So it's like, how do they not get buzzed in saying, by the way, you're letting everyone grab, so you gotta let them keep like.
And I feel like in the playoffs, I honestly think that you can't.
I was fine with it.
Yeah, I think in the playoffs you just have to let it go, right? Like, it's definitely a penalty. I get it, but like what we're talking about from a consistency perspective, it was extremely consistent.
It's literally it's like a ball and a strike. Like if you call it a ball all game, it's a ball. If you call it a strike all game, it's a strike. It gets it's no different.
And that's one of those things that like I used to pitch when I was in Little League growing up, and it was like if the guy's calling outside and low a strike, then okay, now I know I can throw there and it's going to be a strike, and the batter's you have to adjust your strategy. Right. It's the same situation. If the ref's not calling that, okay, then maybe I can get away with it. And
I thought Scott Pioli had a really good tweet about it too. He was even saying it's a huge problem when they quote let them play. Players no longer know when the line where it can and can't be crossed as the game goes on, and that call was let go all game because of a critical call at the end of the game. Or sorry, he said that can't be crossed as the game goes on, and a call was let go all game because of a critical call at the end of the game. Never makes sense for a different standard of penalties in playoffs and regular season, and I agree. I mean, it's one of those like, do you know what hurts me the most about that? And I'm not gonna harp on it here. This is like the last thing I'll say on it. I was on a knee. I was like, my heart was in my chest watching that third down because this is it. You see the ball hit the ground. I literally just held my breath for like 3 seconds, and I literally was even saying, "Don't throw it, don't throw it, don't throw it, don't throw it." And like literally, as I was done saying, I was about to breathe and turn around, and be like, "All right, let's go." I saw the yellow flag just come flying, and
Well, yeah, dude, and that's the other thing. Like they literally waited a full 20 seconds after the play was over to throw the flag. That was one of the latest flags I've ever seen thrown in my life in a football game.
I know.
It just further points to like. What, did they hear Tom Brady scream too many times and they figured, oh, it's Brady, like let's throw the flag, or who knows what to think.
But I like what the chat was saying. Someone asked this point too, because it's somewhere in my notes. I don't know where. It's kind of in the whole like, where do we go from here apart for Green Bay? Because might as well just do that for a second. I mean, there's a lot of question marks with them, but I guess people asked if this game will haunt him, and he said no. But my question for you is there going to be? I know everyone talks about Super Bowl hangovers. If you lose the Super Bowl, I don't know how much, like there's got to be a hangover with this, you go to 2 NFC championship games and you don't win. I don't know. I don't see how they're going to be back there next year. I just don't feel it. I don't know.
I'm not too sure. I mean, I think they can get back there, and I think they could make a run. I really do. That team collectively, and you would know their free agents better than I do, but I think the majority of them are going to be together, right? Besides, I know the running back situation. You got Jones and Williams. They're going to be.
Yeah, you'll lose. Well, you might lose Jones. I think they might franchise tag him, but you'll lose. Kevin King's gone, and he's getting a lot of slack. It's weird. I feel like a lot of plays that everyone's ripping him for are not really his fault, but he also had a horrible game. Jamal Williams, it's going to break my heart seeing him go. And then Mercedes Lewis, I mean, you can always maybe bring him back for cheap, but, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Yeah, no, I feel like for a guy like Rodgers, and I'm 99% sure he would be back. All this other garbage people are saying, I don't think it's true. I think someone like him is going to take it, as we've seen all year, is going to take it as fuel and hopefully keep moving forward. I mean, going to the NFC Championship game 2 years in a row is an awesome accomplishment. I mean, we don't hand out trophies for 3rd and 4th place here, though, in the NFL. So, of course, it's not, ideal, but they definitely have what it takes to get back there. I think, to your point, though, of it being a hangover, I 100% think it's going to sting for the entire offseason, but I would hope that, once training camp comes around, they kind of find a way to use it, as the water boy would say, tackling fuel, so.
And what's tough about this is not me trying to sit here, but like they're the best team. I feel like they just weren't the best team in the tournament that day, and it's like you just picked a bad day. It's like the NCAA tournament kind of. It's like
Yeah.
It's been a bad day to shoot 20% from the field, you know?
Yeah, and that's kind of like the beauty and the craziness behind the NFL and the playoff situation. Because it's beautiful because any given Sunday, any team can win. But at the same point, when you're that team who has been literally the best team or one of the best teams in the NFL and the best team in the NFC all season, and then all of a sudden you just show up, it makes it even more painful and hard to deal with.
It's horrible.
Yeah,
it's horrible. I mean, do you want to talk about the field goal real quick?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
All right, I'll punt it to you. What did you think about it?
So, to lighten the mood, I was enjoying a nice homemade chicken parm dinner last night while that situation was going on. So,
good, there you go.
While I was eating and watching, it didn't really fully hit me that it could have been a questionable call because as I was watching it, I thought, it's not. It makes sense, right? Because they have a 2-minute. Because all I was saying to my dad, I was like, as long as they score before the 2-minute warning, because that was 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. They'll be okay because Tampa should probably just try to run it, and Packers have a decent enough defense that they're going to stop them. And then after they scored, and then I was like, wait a second, okay. Well, my dad was saying, well, they're giving Tom Brady the ball back, so I don't know. Tom Brady, and I was like, yeah, you're right, but we'll see. And then we don't know what happened.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think it's funny because I remember watching the Panthers game, and Carolina crawled back in the game a little bit because they kicked the field goal right before the 2-minute warning. And I actually remember yelling at the TV and be like, Matthew, I want you to take note of what he just did because that was really smart.
Yeah.
And he did. I mean, here's the thing, right? And this is why I hate ESPN and all the rest of them. Everyone says it was a one-possession game. They should have, why would you not trust your quarterback there?
Mm-hmm.
You have
I have a devil's advocate take, too, that I want to make, too, after you're done, by the way.
Yeah, no, I mean, so you're down by 8. In my opinion, that's a 2-score game, right? It's not, but you kind of have to treat it like it is because if you don't get the 2-point play, it is a 2-possession game. And, now you still got to score again, right? You're still on 8 ball. So I think you can't buy time. So what you think of it this way, right? There's a couple ways to play it out. You kick the field goal. You get the stop. You go down and you score. No one talks about this at all. Right? Then you play out what happened. You kick it and you don't get the stop and you got egg on your face with the media. But the thing is, the reason why you kick that field goal is because you cut it from 8 to 5. Right? Basically it's like saying, here's the 2-point conversion, plus we'll give you an extra point. So actually, by the way, you'll actually be winning the game if you score a touchdown. Right? And if the best case scenario, if they get think of it this way, if they get the touchdown, they don't get the 2-point conversion. Now you're south of the 2-minute warning. So okay, you just have less time, and you're pretty much in the same spot. You just have to get a field goal, which I guess. But right, you just failed 3 times trying to score. So what confidence? The worst thing you could have done was not get points, right? So that's the thing. You cannot not get points in that situation for the most part because if you don't, then all of a sudden you're right back on your heels, and then you have to burn all 3 timeouts just to get a chance to try to score a touchdown and get the 2-point conversion. This basically cut off some margin for error. And the reality is they didn't get the stops. Right? I mean, you can't give them 9 yards on the first play. And then this pass interference, we know about that. You can't. It's what it is.
Yeah, to play devil's advocate, if you go for it on that 4th and goal, and if you don't get it, it's still 8 points. I get what you're saying with how it's a 2-possession because the 2-point conversion adds a lot of extra stress and extra importance. But I really think that if you go for it, if you don't get it, okay, from the Bucs, then it's a matter of just field position because it's still technically a 1-score game.
Yeah, but then
so the Bucs get it at the 8-yard line or the 25.
But they're going to be doing the same thing anyway and try to put the game away.
Right.
So you might as well just take a shot, cut it down, and then start over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess for me, and I'm not trying to argue over the call because I see both sides. Is if you have Aaron Rodgers, you're the best red zone offense. I know they got stopped 3 plays in a row. But you're the best red zone offense.
He was getting hit all afternoon too. That's the thing. It's not like he was. It's not. You know what I mean?
And do you think Rodgers on that 3rd down? I know it's all hindsight, and it's a lot faster.
Why didn't he run? I don't know why he didn't run. I don't know.
Right. Don't you think he would run if And
the whole thing saying, well, maybe he didn't know. He didn't know there was going to be a field goal being. What difference does it make?
Yeah.
Like, all the more reason to run.
Yeah. I guess
But
I
at the same
yeah.
point, I can't blame him for that, right? Like, I'm not on the field. I don't see what he sees.
Right. Because if you look, there was a
lane to the
quarterback or well, there was, but I think there was an outside linebacker. I don't know who it was.
JPP was right there.
But there was someone on the goal line. I think he started to he was spying on Rodgers a little bit, or he started to break off his coverage because he saw that he could have ran, and Rodgers probably saw that and figured, okay, well, I might get to the 3-yard line, but I'm going to take a shot for a touchdown right now. So
it's just a bad loss, dude. I'm tired. I mean, I told you about this. I'm just tired of it. I mean, and I know, like, look, I'm just using you because you're a good friend and you can be a good exact example here. Kind of like, I get you're probably sitting there being like, oh, dude, cry me a river. Like, I'd kill being an NFC championship. No. You're like not thinking that, but you know what I mean? Like, it's be natural for someone, like, for what you've been going through the last years, which has been really rough with draft picks and developing Daniel Jones and everything. Like, I get it. Like, with firing Pat Shurmur, right? And I'm sitting here like whining about how hard it's been losing 4 of the last 7, but at the end of the day, it's right. It's like, to me, I really do believe it's like the one person being single their entire life and the other person being left at the altar 4 times. It's like at the end of the day, neither one of you are getting like what you want. Like, right? You're both getting basically being single at the end of the day. So it's like what? I don't know.
I agree because it's almost like you'd rather be bad, not make the playoffs, than continuously come up short all the time. You know what I mean?
And right, I've been on both sides of it. Like, right, 2 years ago, it really, and I said this before on the show, it does suck so much when you're not good and you don't make the playoffs. It's a long winter. You're watching everyone in the wild card. You're watching everyone in the divisional round. And it's like you're just sitting there being like, why can't we play in one of these games, just get in this damn tournament? Like, that's all I want. But once you're in there, it breaks your heart.
When you get in, it's like a whole other world because literally it's just a fresh slate, and teams that are hungry are going to come up. Like we've seen, with the Giants, we've seen with the Titans when they made a run. You see it every offseason, I think.
Yeah,
it's scary.
But obviously you got to give the Bucs credit. I feel like obviously I'm biased, Packers fan, but
Yeah, I think their defense is really the reason why. Brady throws 3 picks, and after each interception, they held Packers to 3 and out. So the defense has saved them.
I know. It's horrible. It's horrible.
I know.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Well, might as well point this out. Obviously, everyone probably has heard this before, but like what Uncle Ricky was saying, he wants the Chiefs to win. I think everyone does. I was at that point, like, I don't want the Bucs to win their own stadium.
Yeah, it's interesting. So someone brought up a good point. I think it was on Good Morning Football today. Because the Bucs are at home, so are they going to be able to have it be like a home game? Like, are they going to be able to shoot the cannon off or do that type of stuff like the Bucs would do at their own home games? My vote would be they shouldn't be allowed to because that's an advantage, right? In a sense.
Yeah, I mean, this is not me saying this at you. I'd be saying it's more like, I don't care.
I agree.
It's off right now. But as long as I'm standing in front of one of them, that's all I really want to do. But no, I'm joking. But let's actually answer the question. No, I agree. I don't think you can.
Because technically, even though it's not an actual advantage, but it's like more of a comfort feel. It doesn't feel like you're traveling, the butterflies. Yeah, you're at your home stadium already. So
right, neutral site.
Any little dumb thing that would make them feel like they're at home.
I think
more at home.
Yeah. All right. I'll say it's that point. We're talking about the Chiefs. They're getting the win. I mean, because I'll spin it on you. I'll just pretend like you're as sad as me for a second. Your Bills, which I know you're pulling for, a little bit of a not yet moment for them yesterday, right?
Yeah, it was. I thought Josh Allen was trying to do way too much. Personally, I think it was a mix of him trying to do too much. Dragging plays too long than they should have been instead of just throwing the ball away. He looked like the Josh Allen of 2019. But on the flip side, the Chiefs defense looked the best they ever have probably all season last night. So kudos to Steve Spagnuolo and the whole defense. But it was interesting because it seemed to me early in the game the Bills tried to flip the script and tried to establish a run game, which was kind of non-existent, as we talked about many times on the show. And I don't know why they tried to do it in the beginning of the AFC Championship game to change things up, unless it was like to try to calm people down from a nerves perspective. It was just an interesting strategy, and I think on the defensive side, I really didn't get what they were trying to do. They tried to limit the big play, which, okay, the deep ball was kind of not there, but they gave up a 10-yard catch with like 30 yards after the catch whenever Tyreek Hill would get it, or Travis Kelce for that matter. So I just think their game plan was off. I really do. I don't think I think they deserve to be there. I think they could hang, but the game plan was just way off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be straight up with you. I didn't watch a ton of it because I was so upset.
Yeah,
yeah, it makes sense. But no, I caught up on what I could. Yeah, I mean, right, you're up 9-0, and it's one of those things we always talk about with the Chiefs. Like, it doesn't feel like it's enough when you're playing a team like that, especially when they go down, they score. It's like, oh boy, here we go.
It's like when you saw the Bills go up 9-0, you knew that the Chiefs were going to come back just because that's how they are.
I know.
Especially.
It's almost like a wake up call for them.
And it was like the
game ends up, being 38-24. It was never really close. I mean, the ways, the couple things I look at, right? They took Diggs away for the most part.
Yeah.
Mahomes and Kelce have an unreal chemistry. It's fun. I think the other thing with the Bills too is we look at them and it's like that lack of run game showed. It showed. It wasn't even that bad. It was just it showed. I mean, it wasn't good enough.
Completely agree. And you pressure Josh Allen, mix it with a big game like that. He was clearly a little nervous, which no fault to him. It was his first time being there. And then you adjust your defense to take it, to basically eliminate Stephon Diggs from the game from a strategy standpoint, and that's what happens. And you don't have a run game, and credit to you because you've been calling that, and I've been the guy saying, oh, but what if they don't need it? They can pass. They need run game. It's pretty clear. They need it now.
Yeah, it comes back to rear its ugly head if you don't have it. Although, I mean, dude, we didn't run the ball yesterday either, and it showed. It's just so important.
I mean, have we ever seen
it tires defenses out.
Yeah, and it runs the clock, right? Mm-hmm. And then when you think about it, have we ever seen a team win a Super Bowl that didn't have a decent running game?
No, the Chiefs can still run it.
Yeah, I thought Edwards-Helaire, he had limited touches, but it was first game back since that pretty horrible injury. I thought he looked decent. He had a nice touchdown run.
Yeah, I mean, I thought. Yeah, all together, I mean, and we call Hardman bouncing back after that fumble. I just thought all together they just played they just look good.
Dude, Tyreek Hill, people need to start viewing him as one of the best. And some people do, but I didn't really view him as one of the best wide receivers in the league until now after last night. I think he needs to be up there in the top 4, top 5, maybe top 3, honestly.
Is there any shot that the Bucs kind of run out of fuel after this? Like, this was kind of their Super Bowl, and then this almost 2-week layover will hurt them?
I don't think so, just because of Tom Brady's leadership and whatever. True. I don't think it will, but the Chiefs just overall looked significantly better than I thought they looked yesterday.
Yeah, they actually, that was one of the sharpest games that they put all together this year.
Yeah, and to your point, when Hardman fumbled that and then the Bills, scored a touchdown right away, it would be pretty easy to get dejected after that. But you saw Mahomes instantly come up to him and just say, "Dude, forget it. We'll be all right." And they were all right.
Yeah,
they were better than all right.
Yeah, I mean, now do you want to spin real quick? We can obviously jump into it. The whole Super Bowl matchup on Thursday, and the next week we'll talk more about it when I'm not depressed, and you don't have to get out of here early. So let's. You want to do a little football chat real quick?
Yeah, let's do it. There's definitely been some headlines.
Yeah, let's talk about that Matt Stafford thing. What are your thoughts on that?
I thought it was. I think it's the right move for him, and even for Detroit, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
I personally like Matt Stafford. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a tough player. He proved that. He didn't have to prove that this year. We already knew that, but he proved it again this year, playing with his rib injury and all these other injuries that he's had, which were extremely painful. But he's 32. he still has, I'd say, 4 or 5 strong years left to give to another team. And I think Detroit, as Dan Campbell says, is in a retool mode. I think they're in a whole other phase of where Matt Stafford needs to be. I think Stafford deserves to be in a little bit better of a situation and finally have a chance to make some type of playoff run.
Yeah, and then the question is, where does he go? I mean, right? And obviously we talked about, we don't know. Thanks, Ars, to keep it master. I appreciate the condolences. I'm not okay. It's my depression playlist. It's cooking in the shower today.
Did you? Oh no. What songs are on that, by the way?
You want me to send it to you? You a Spotify guy?
I am a Spotify guy.
You actually, I think you'll get a kick out of it.
I'll need it. I've needed it for the last 8 years as a Giants.
So I have, to be fair, just not that I'm the darkest person ever. I do have a winning one that I just never played before because I've never won a championship. But I'm sending it to you right now. Yeah, it's called Your Team Lost Depression Playlist.
Oh God.
But I'm going to send it over to you.
Yeah.
Iris and Let the Drummer Kick are the first 2 ones on the top of that playlist. Just give you an idea of what you're looking at.
There you go.
Sorry, what were we saying?
No, I wrote down some about 8 or 9 teams, ironically, like that clickbait article, that are some teams that need a quarterback, I would say, or have a potential need for a quarterback.
Yeah, lay it on me.
I got the Texans with that whole situation. I mean,
sure.
But, however, I think Deshaun Watson has a no trade clause, if I'm correct. But
that would suck if you got traded to Detroit.
Yeah, but so anyway, the Texans. I mean, I think the Jets are as well. Mm-hmm. They're questionably. Jacksonville, even though they're probably going to take that in the draft, obviously. The Patriots, I'd say the Colts. I mean, the Colts right now have Jacoby Brissett and that Jacob Eason from Washington, who they drafted last year. So I think it could be good, but save that for later. Pittsburgh is questionable, depending on what Big Ben does. 49ers, I know there's a lot of talk about Jimmy G, how he's kind of underperformed, and that's kind of a rocky situation. The Saints and potentially even Washington, because with Alex Smith's future kind of uncertain still.
There's so many different avenues. It's funny because it speaks for a hell of an off season.
It does. This is probably. I took a screenshot and I'm gonna pull it up real quick. It was believe it or not, Adam Schefter actually. He had a list of quarterbacks whose futures are kind of in question.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, Aaron Rodgers is on there for some reason, which is
at the top of the list.
Ridiculous. But long story short. There's at least 10 quarterbacks who could be in really different places come next season. So we'll definitely have a lot of coverage on that and potential, Yeah,
it's gonna be a hell of an off season.
Yeah, it really will.
I have no heart for it right now, but
yeah. See, I've had a heart for it for the last couple weeks. But it's I don't know. I'm kind of excited for Stafford because I think he's gonna finally have an opportunity. To really flourish a little bit. So. I don't know. How do you feel about it being that he's in your division? I know it might be hard to come to grips and think about that right now, but with him gone, does it feel better, or is it kind of like water under the bridge?
What's your major? Imagine that you just got asked what the heart. Did you see the whole thing with Coach K? I'm actually so glad you asked me this question just like that because I completely forgot we had to rip him.
No, I actually didn't see it. I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
So I was just doing an impersonation of poor one of them. So they lost to Louisville. So now they're 500, I believe. I think they're 5-5. And the kid basically just was asking, where do you go from here? What's next? You know what I mean? Where do you, And so he was just kind of like, what's your major? And the kid's like, econ. And he's like, all right, well, imagine you took the hardest econ test of your life, and the minute you walked out the door, I asked you what are you gonna study next? You need a second. It's just kind of, and it's funny because I guess some people are I don't have a problem with it. I'm like, okay, look, I'm not saying it was the meanest thing anyone's ever said before, but it's more just who's in the position that's supposed to be showing grace in class? The head coach that's been there forever and it's done it a million times, and that kid was just asking. It's a kid, it's a kid, he's a college kid. I mean, right? It just, I don't know.
Yeah, he could have easily just said, we're going to go back and we're going to study and prepare for the next game. That's literally all he had to say.
But he wanted to show the kid up. So what's that point? Yeah. So I feel I was imagine we just play the hardest test of our life, Zach. I don't really, but no, I joke. I don't know where he's going to go. I guess I'm okay with the Lions blowing up because I think the Lions actually had like some pieces there. I'm like, all right, if you want to get rid of a good quarterback, go ahead. But at the same point, be careful what you wish for, right? Like if he goes to San Fran, it's like, what? Like, right? That's not good.
Right. Or Washington because then he's in the Giants division.
Exactly. You want him to get traded to the AFC is what you want.
Yeah.
Like Indianapolis.
That would be that's a win-win.
Yeah, right?
Win.
There we go. Well, like the Office reference.
Right.
And then speaking of the Texans, right, you got Leslie Frazier, I guess, and Bieniemy are still interviewing for that. I have been feeling Leslie Frazier's going to get that job.
I think so, too. I don't think Bieniemy wants – I feel like if Bieniemy wanted out of Kansas City, I feel like they're like, I don't know. I feel like it would have happened already. Like I feel like teams should be just throwing him offers, and he just might not be as
open. Might not even want to go there, which I wouldn't blame him.
Right, exactly.
By the way, did you agree with Joe was saying in the chat that
after the Washington would own the NFC East?
You think so?
It would definitely be. It would definitely throw a wrench in the plans.
Maybe a problem him that defense.
That would be a problem because
I was going to say, it's been wild how we've been saying how like the Lions and Washington have kind of like the same team and that whole.
Yeah, and Washington took a leap this year. And they have some young pieces on. They need a couple more pieces on offense to really make the leap, I think. But
yeah,
they're knocking. They won the division obviously, so they're not knocking on the door. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. And then I guess speaking of the Lions, I guess Deuce Staley went there. We're talking about that a little bit.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, but running backs coach, assistant head coach, or whatever, which was his same role in Philly, I think.
Yeah, the same exact. It's pretty much a direct lateral move, but just to a different team. So I think that just speaks to kind of how things are right now in the culture of the Eagles. Unfortunately, but I know I read an article saying he was a little upset because.
Well, let me stop you there because you're saying unfortunately. That's one thing everyone keeps saying. Like this sucks. It's not fair for him. What if he's not a good coach? I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying I'm just trying to play devil's advocate a little bit. Like everyone, if he's as good of a coach as Twitter says he is, like they're making it sound like he's Bill Walsh out there.
No, that's a good point. I see Deuce Staley from a coaching perspective, and I don't have too much insight, obviously, but Deuce, I feel like his vibe is like Robert Saleh, and what I mean by that is I know Robert Saleh is head coach of the Jets now, but I feel like Robert Saleh is like a hype man, and he's like a player's
gets his troops rallied up,
a player's coach, but I don't know how he is technically or like strategically, you know what I mean, or anything like that. So I feel like I could be completely wrong, but that's just the impression that I get just from like watching them on the sidelines and seeing how they interact with players.
It's fair.
So I don't know.
Do you want to do a little Mojo Monday?
It is Monday, right? So
I have no Mojo, but let's do it.
We owe it to the ladies dancing on the Mojo.
I know. If they asked me to dance them, I couldn't do it for them today. I was basically dancing in the grocery store before the game yesterday, but not today. I'll go first. Let's actually go back to football for a second. Give the Bills Mafia credit, right? They waited at the airport till 3 a.m. last night for the Bills to get back. They lost the game 38-24, and they were there at the airport waiting to cheer them on and thank them for a great season. Which, I mean, you think about 3 a.m. in Buffalo, I can't imagine how cold that was.
On a Sunday night.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you know that fan base. I mean, are you surprised by that type of stuff?
No, not at all.
Really?
Not remotely surprised, no.
I really want to go to a game next year with you there.
Yeah, we're going to go. Like, I will go there regardless. If the Giants have a bye week, I'll go there. Or if the Giants or if the Packers play there.
Dude, that'd be perfect if we both have a bye the same week and we could just go to a game up there.
Yeah, because it's nice. It's just like a little 6-hour drive. And
yeah.
You have the best wings of your life. And it's honestly,
that good?
Yeah, and it's honestly like the same type of experience that you would get at Lambeau.
Oh, I love that.
Vibes.
Like
I give Lambeau an edge over going to a Bills game, but it's very close.
From the history of it, but that's about it.
From the history perspective, yeah.
Yeah,
but those stadiums have bleachers, so it's pretty cool. A little old school feel.
Well, and then I guess you're keeping it in the football circuits, and yours has to do with bleachers and seats a little bit.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So my Mojo Monday is, and this came out a couple days ago, so it's kind of old news, but just wanted to speak to it again. Is the NFL is giving 7,500 vaccinated healthcare workers free tickets to the Super Bowl this year. And keep in mind, I think they're allowing a little over 22,000 fans at this game. So roughly a third of them will be vaccinated healthcare workers who they gave free tickets for. What you think about it, it's a very cool gesture because as big as the NFL is, like they're obviously hurting for money. So they could have said, no, we're not doing that. We need as much revenue as we can get because 7,500 people at probably what's the cheapest ticket, $5,000. That's a pretty big pill to swallow. But the fact that they're doing the right thing and giving back to some of the frontline workers and heroes that are really putting themselves in danger every day during this pandemic. It is a class act, and it's frankly not something we see from the NFL all the time.
Yeah, we rip the NFL all the time. At least gotta give them a little credit where it's due, right?
Yeah, and these people are so deserving to have this opportunity to go to the Super Bowl because that's like a once in a lifetime experience. Not many people get to go to the Super Bowl, so good to see them get rewarded for all the crazy stuff they're doing this year.
Chad's going down tomorrow too. So we'll have him on the show the next 2 weeks.
We'll have a live correspondent.
Packers aren't in there. Yeah.
I know.
I want it to be fun, Zach.
It's all right. We can make it fun with some prop bets.
Can we?
Yeah, we can.
All right. Dang, I appreciate it.
We're still 2 weeks out, so we got some other stuff we can talk about too to take our attention away from this painful mess.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Like playing in traffic.
There's that, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, all right, I gotta slow down. All right, but that's up point. What better way to maybe slow down than slow down the show and wrap it up? Because I know you got to get out of here. A little short show today, but that's all right. Because I know positivity, but we did it. I feel like it's fair. Like we didn't cheap out on the show. It was over 45 minutes. That's we didn't. So all right, to that point, I'll buy some more time. But hey, if anyone wants to give us a follow, if you want to check us out on Spotify or iTunes, you can check us out with the audio episodes there. And then be sure to check us out on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit at _GetSidetracked, and then visit the website at www.get-sidetrack.com. I don't know why I'm messing that up lately. All right, and then check us out on Twitch. If you're not watching us on Twitch, you can always do that. Subscribe or follow. The hearts of loves to follow. The subscription is to the right. It's free via Amazon Prime, so there's no excuse. And it's only $4 or $5 a month, which is, that's also pretty good if you're not Prime. But and then it's free on YouTube. So make sure you check us out for highlights and clips and all that good stuff. And then if you're, just still really feeling the sidetrack love, I need to have more energy doing this. But this is what I got today, Zach, unfortunately. But yeah, our store, our site store is pretty good stuff with all sorts of gear and accessories and all that cool stuff. If you want to rock it out, especially now that we're thinking about summer, because that's where I'm at right now. Zach, thinking about we got the Marlins hat on because it's on to the next season.
There you go.
Yeah, this sucks, but yeah, you are a good friend, Zach. They're saying that in the chat, and you are, which I appreciate it.
Oh, nice. You do the same for me. For me.
I know. We'll get through it. But yeah, thank everyone for chatting in. This was a lot of fun tonight. We'll be back on the air on